Hello, good evening. This is Diecast Luna. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to a special episode of Vintage Majorette Mondays. I thought I'd do something a little bit different this week. I have got cars that I was going to show. I'll most likely show them now. Possibly tomorrow. I'll show the vintage matchbox pieces that I picked up. But somebody asked me if I ever do anything with majorette or if it's just matchbox I collect. And matchbox is my primary collecting, or I do collect a lot of vintage matchbox, but I also like vintage majorettes and vintage Hot Wheels and obviously vintage Corgi, and I have all of that in my collection. But I do like the vintage majorette. That was something that I did collect a lot of as a kid, and it's something that I don't come across as much as matchbox. A matchbox is quite an abundance of matchbox at the moment. So anyway, this week we're going to look at some vintage majorette. I have shown it before at some point, but I thought, why not? I'll show some of the stuff that is to hand. I have got quite a bit of vintage majorette in my collection, but I just picked out the box that was the easiest to get to. Without further ado, let's chat and get straight on with it. So we get a bit of zoom on and we'll take a look at probably one of my favorite pieces of my vintage majorette. So just bear with me while I put the camera down, and as you can see, these have been packed away at the moment, but this is a little beach buggy. So there you go, majorette on top in its original perspex case. I'm just trying to look, there you go, just says dune buggy 248. Now these are always usually, it's not common, let's see if I can open it without breaking it. It's not common to come across these in nice condition anymore, because they weren't, I think you just can't open it, there we go, because they were flimsier than matchbox. But there we go. So the roof does pop off. I'm not going to pop it off. But like I said, these are flimsier than matchbox. That's not knocking majorette. Majorette made some great stuff. And I'm the same in the majorette as I am the matchbox. My favourite era of majorette is from the late 70s and early 80s, because that's around the time that I was collecting or having them as toys. But I've seen this a while back and just had to get it because, like I said, the car is mint. The roof hasn't faded. Usually the engines are bust off, usually the roof's gone, usually the steering wheel's gone. You don't usually find these in great condition because they weren't built that strong. Like I said, no knock to majorette, that's just the truth of the matter. There is the underneath. Let's have a little look if we can get it, sir. Just bear with me, there we go. So made in France. Let's see if we can get some extra light in here. Let's do some natural lights, move the curtain. Is it going to stay? Yes, there we go. So there we go. Nope, a bit more zoom maybe. Right, so made in France, majorette, dune buggy number 248. And if you're into customizing these, you would usually start by pulling this piece out. But like I said, it is all there, and it doesn't, I don't think it's a suspension on this one, no. But this particular piece is from about 1978, 1979. They made it in lots of different variations, greens and yellows and lots of other colours. But this one is obviously the blue. And I've even left a little bits of plastic flashing on. Is that original? So that is a particular piece in my collection that I really do like. And like I say, you don't see it all that often. I have seen other YouTubers with quite a nice collection of beach buggies, and it's even got this, like I said, it still has its perspex little case, and it's got like a little bit of a, I don't know what that's supposed to represent sand, I suppose, but anyway, we'll stick it to one side. Let's just move it aside a second, just bear with me. Let's find somewhere to, there we go. Right, so the next piece we will show, what should we look at? We'll look at another cased piece whilst we're at it. So this is an earlier piece again, I believe. It's a bit wobbly there. So again, it's in its perspex case. It is pretty cool. It is an Esso truck. This was a gift. I'm trying to think where I got it from. I think it was Phil from Diecast for You to See, who we don't see very much on YouTube anymore. I don't know what's happened to Phil, but he's a great guy. He still has his channel as far as I'm aware of. But this was a gift from him. But very weighty piece, because this is obviously all die-cast on the back. And again, this is from, I think, about the mid to late 70s. But again, these are usually beaten within an inch of their life. And that's why these things are rare, is because they were a toy. They were played with. Millions got played with, millions got smashed up. So when you find them in this condition, it is great. But like I said, this was a gift from Phil. But like I said, I'm sure his channel's still going, Diecast for You to See. I'm sure that's what it was called. Awesome little channel. But like I said, he has gone quiet on YouTube of recent. As a few other people have gone quiet on YouTube. I think Rick from A Whole Lot of Zep. I haven't heard anything from him for a while, which is a bit of a shame. I have got his email. I've been lazy. I should email these people just to say, like, you know, hope everything's good. You know, because it is sad when sometimes, I mean, life gets in the way. You know, sometimes you can't, you know, it could be illness, you know, it can be money, it can be anything. Life gets in the way. So, but anyway, let's look at something else. Again, this was a gift, so we will remove the bubble wrap. Little Range Rover. Fire, sort of like a fire car. But it's, again, really nice condition. This is from the 80s. I think it's about the mid 80s, I think. That there's not anything wrong with it. That's just a, from when it was new, just an error. But the white, you can see how vibrant the white is. And like I said, it's got loads of suspension. It does have its little Bowser, what you want to call it, as well. So there you go, that would carry the water. And obviously I'm not going to do it now, but it does hook onto there, and it's part of the same set. But again, this was from Phil from Diecast for You to See. But an awesome piece. So let's just move that aside and move the other one aside, because I ain't got a lot of room on there, to be honest. It's not the biggest of workstations in the world. Let's move that. Right, what's next? A particular favourite of mine. This is something I found at car boot sale a while ago, and I don't know what it is. I had one as a kid, something similar to this. I think it's Tyrone from Building the Ultimate Matchbox Collection. He sometimes does some majorette unboxing, some vintage majorette pieces. I just can't remember if he does it on his other diecast channel, if he does it on his Matchbox channel. I can't remember anymore, you have to bear with me. But this is in really nice condition from something from the 70s that is made from plastic. So it is, it has got its doors missing, but that doesn't bother me. But, and this was something that when I got it from car boot sale, I did pay quite a lot for it. I think I paid £10, which is quite a lot considering it was a little bit bust. But these never lasted. The plastic on these are very brittle. There you go, very brittle. It's not, a lot of it's to do with the type of plastic they used back in the day and the age. But I was after one of these for ages, and these are fetching absolutely horrendous money if you find them in mint condition. But this is in nice condition. Like I said, it's not bad. So pretty cool. There we go. So it is obviously a circus caravan, and what I used to use to represent pulling it when I had it on display a while ago was this little Jeep Defender. I think this is a Defender 90. Is it Defender? Just a Land Rover. Yeah, I knew it was a Land Rover Defender 90, but I'm sure it's a Defender. But anyway, but very cool piece. Again, this is from about the late 80s, maybe a little bit newer, maybe very early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. And again, this I opened up from new. it was still blistered. I have got some blistered majorette here. I think I might just show it actually in a minute. But I used to use that to sort of sit, obviously, as if it was pulling it, but I'm not going to, again, I'm not going to connect it. So we'll move that to one side. And this, and we will show this. Again, this is another car boot find. This little Mercedes truck and trailer. So we'll look at the truck first. It's a pretty plain truck, quite small, very small scale. But again, in pretty good, or very good condition in fact, because this is from the early 80s as far as I'm aware of. I don't think this was as late as the 70s, I just think it was the 80s, but again, in really nice condition. Goes like that. That does go down, you've got to be a bit brutal with it, and then you can obviously load your cars on and just pull it up like that. But anyway, I will get that other car, bear with me. And I'm back, so let's move this truck aside. So I got this at the same time as I got the Jeep. I got a few others at the same time. Sorry, I keep calling it a Jeep. It's a Land Rover, I should know that. But because I already have one of these somewhere, in not very good condition, but because I have one, I didn't want to open this. I thought I'd leave it in this blister because I'm not a car collector by any means. I don't, you know, that's just me, I just don't. I like to see the cars out and tactile and all that stuff. I mean, it's different if you've got issues about where to store it, but I just think you should always have them out. But anyway, the reason I left this one in its box is just because it's a great way to see how majorette used to come in these awesome little packages. So there you go. It's got the number there, 245 oil tanker. But maybe one day I'll open it. But like I said, I've mainly left it in here just so I can show people what they used to be like for those that don't know. But anyway, that is today's video. Bit different. I have got many more vintage majorettes, so I might show some more again in the future. I've also got quite a lot of modern majorette too. But anyway, with that, please like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned for more vintage Matchbox Mondays starting from Monday again next week. I will show probably what I was going to show today. I'll probably show tomorrow. So I will be doing some vintage Matchbox at some point this week. And obviously Wednesday it will be Movie Car Mania again, and then obviously Friday will be Friday Night Custom. But with that, I'll see you all very soon. Thank you for watching.